you're never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible. It's not probable. You're irresponsible. Too many obstacles. You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the f*** are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a d*** if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna f***ing do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it.
Oh, will you fight?
Muted, Dan.
Well, I'm just going to take the intro right now.
Let's start again, shall we? Hello and welcome to Gameday from the UK, another live pre-game streaming show from the Miami Heat UK. Sorry about that. We have a good, strong cast of us tonight, 5 of us deep. We have, fingers crossed, Wi-Fi's looking strong. Sam Aquara?
Yeah, I'm good. Good, back on track.
Love it. Good stuff. Welcome back, Bilal. You are also muted, just to let you know.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back.
Yes, good. We missed you, man. It's good to have you back. Ollie Rahimi, how are you?
Yeah, very well, mate. Thanks.
Great stuff. And Glenn Smith, how are you, sir?
Good evening. Yeah, doing well, thank you.
Good stuff. Just missing John Jablonka tonight, and Danny Ronaldo's a little bit tied up for the next week or so, a bit snowed under with work, but we'll welcome Danny back soon. Guys, we bounced back with a big victory against the Magic. Wasn't always comfortable. We let them get in a little bit, but we took care of business in the end. And Ollie, let's start with you. We spoke about it before. Carl's return allowed Jimmy Butler to do Jimmy Butler things. 36 points, 5 steals. What did you make of Jimmy's performance?
Yeah, it was classic Jimmy, wasn't it? Scoring, getting to the rim. You know, his field goal percentage was really good. I think it was 15 from 19, I think, or something like that. You know, his efficiency was brilliant. Obviously, on the defensive end, we know his ability there. 5 steals. You know, he had a field day, and I think from the difference between, you know, that game and Saturday's, obviously Carl having the ball in his hands, taking that onus away from Jimmy, just allowed him to, you know, get points, get buckets, and yeah, that just really elevated the Heat and was a big contributor to the win.
Yeah, 100%. And this is what I was sort of debating all through the off-season with the odd person who was saying about, you know, Kyle Lowry. I don't know why everyone's making such a fuss of Kyle because of his age, and is he really going to move the needle that much? Bilal, this was sort of the most obvious sort of statement you can make to it. It's not just about what he does bring to the team, which is, you know, that facilitation and, you know, the experience and the defensive presence, etc. But it's what he's going to bring into other people. We're going to see it with Bam, but we're seeing it with Jimmy, aren't we? He only has to worry really about doing what he does best, which is scoring. Carl's absence in the game in the loss against Indy proves that again. He's just too important to this team, isn't he? Already we can see this.
Yeah, definitely. He even said it himself. He gave guys max contracts.
Yes.
You think about like really not great players in the league. Bismack Biyombo getting a max contract. That's due to him, and that's what he can bring to people. He can make people better, and that it's not about what his stat line is going to be. Obviously, he's not that point guard that's going to make us. That's going to have 30 points, 20 assists every game. It's just the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet. That's what Kyle Lowry is going to bring to this team, and also his leadership. Everyone is going to respect Kyle. He's a champion. He's been in the league for over 10 years. So that's what he's going to bring as well. And him and Jimmy are really good friends. So that's another plus as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's really good to have him.
That's an understated thing of it as well, that friendship that bond is there, so that relationship will continue to grow. Glenn, we spoke at the end of the last show about the predictions, and we both said we expected Jimmy Butler to go off. He did go off. Do you think when we look at the difference between what Jimmy is this season to what he was last season, he didn't really care about his box score, he didn't really care about his scoring, all he cared about was getting a W, and I'm sure that is still the main priority. But now that we have Cole and he hasn't got to worry about the ball being in his hands as much and being that sort of key guy to get things going, do we think we're going to see a Jimmy Butler go through the season averaging 25 points or more?
It's interesting because I saw some stuff at the end of the bubble season saying, right, next year people expect Jimmy to come back and be some MVP type candidate, but he was never in a position to be able to do that because he was taking so much load. Dragic, the kind of point guard that he was, he's got his own game. It's very much almost called like a post point guard because he's always seems to be good around the basket and doing that, but he's never creating space and opening stuff for other players like Jimmy to succeed. Not saying that, not dissing Goran in the slightest, but Kyle just fits that better. He's better at making everyone's game far better than what they play when they're just trying to dig it out on their own. And I think Jimmy's going to very much appreciate that this season with his stats.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a very welcome return to see Jimmy looking good again. Kyle making a big difference. Another guy that Sam has started this season on fire is Tyler Herro. A quieter game from him, but I was watching his game very carefully. Especially in the first half. I think he only put up 2 shots in the first half and only hit one of them. But his overall floor game, even though he only scored, I think, 13 points, 9 assists, he handled the ball well, he drove to the basketball. His floor game looks very strong, despite maybe the box score not jumping off the page.
Yeah, I mean, right now he is that spark that we need off the bench, and he's playing it to perfection at the moment. Not sure what he was missing at the last season, could be his confidence or whatever, but whatever it is, he's got it back. And it's really showing in how this team is coming together to the first 3 games. I mean, he was just recently in contention for the player of the week and last week as well. So it does show the level that which he's increased his gameplay. And yeah, it's refreshing to see, and he's proving a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even already, we're only 3 games in, but he started this season, I think, 16-1 as the 6th man of the year. He is now favourites at 4-1. That's in 3 games. So that's quite staggering to show you what a leap he's making already. And who knows, even maybe a most improved player, he could be in that shout as well. So keep doing your thing, Tyler. This is good. Ollie, just quickly on Bam Adebayo. We've seen him again looking sharp, looking strong, getting aggressive, getting to the basket. But the rebounds are stacking up. This is something we didn't necessarily see. Another 13 rebounds last game out. And it just shows you that when he hasn't got to be on that perimeter all the time, he's going to get these double-doubles. And he's already got 3 out of 3 so far this season.
Yeah, for sure. He's probably, he's slightly undersized as a typical big. But his athleticism and his sort of tenacity and stuff makes up for that. And, I think that's been proven in the first 3 games. Like you said, three double doubles to start the season. I think I saw something earlier. Only Ronnie Cycli and Hassan Whiteside had got more double doubles to start the season in a row. So obviously, if Bam carries on, I think it's another 2 more, and he'll have that record. So it's a really good start from him. And hopefully, because we were not a great rebounding team last year, so we definitely need that from him. Having Dedmon obviously as his backup off the bench is big because. Dedmon obviously brings that height and the length and that rebounding ability as well. So, yeah, it's a really big leap from Bam. Probably not one that I, for one, expected him to be leaping that much in terms of his rebounding. I thought it might come with the scoring, the facilitating. But, yeah, it's refreshing to see. And hopefully if he continues with his confidence, with his mid-range game and attacking the basket and stuff, he could be on for a really, really good season.
Just to piggyback off what the both of you have said, and piggybacking off one of the opinions I've seen on Twitter, I think it was Siobhan from Heatbeat that pointed this out. She mentioned how with what Kyle Lowry brings to this team, as you said, Dan, is just less switching. The guards can hold their own on the perimeter. So we've got Bam mostly in the post, and it's just massively giving him more opportunity to rebound. He's never really had that much of a rebounding issue when you look at his rebounding percentage. I think it's rebound rate, it's called. But now that he's got the opportunity to be right under the basket, he's just grabbing everything in sight. And thinking back to a couple seasons ago, we literally gave Hassan Whiteside a crown for stuff like this. And Bam's just doing this in addition to just being ridiculously assertive on offense. And yeah, it's just lovely to see.
It's lovely to see. I totally agree with you. Bilal, before we finish up on the Magic, before we come onto the Nets, what did you think of Markieff Morris? Very productive games, 16 points, 7 for 11 shooting. Best game of the season for Markieff so far.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that pickup. Not only of his versatile skills, it's just due to his leadership as well. I'm not sure why the Lakers just made him a spot-up shooter. That's not really his game. Over the course of his career, he hasn't really shot in the high 30s percentage. So what we're using him now is what he should be used as, and he's bringing his game back for when he was at the Washington Wizards a couple of years ago. So I feel like if he continues like this, especially in the playoffs, he could be massive for us. And I really hope he just finds his spots, beats that guy on the second unit. Him and Tyler looks like they have a really good pick and roll, pick and pop game. So I feel like that's a big addition. I'm really happy for his performance, and I hope he can keep it up.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's promising. It's all looking very swimmingly so far. Really, really pleased for Markieff Morris. Let's come on to today's game then against the Brooklyn Nets. But before we do, Glenn, you just brought something up quickly in the private chat about some bet that's been made that I've missed, about something to do with the mayor and cigars. What is this all about?
Yeah, man. The mayor of Miami basically just tweeted out, because as if this game wasn't big enough already, he just decided to tweet out to, apparently he's the president of Brooklyn, and just say, look, Miami's the innovation center in the US right now. How about we have a wager but if the Heat lose, I'll send you a packet of like Miami's best cigars. But what I find even more strange is that he's not even asked for anything back if the Heat win. He's just gone, yeah, you can have the cigars if we lose, but I don't want anything in return. It's Florida for you, man. It's Florida.
Brilliant. Okay. But strange bit of negotiating. Yeah, we'll send you this, but don't worry about it if we win. So let's come on to the Nets. It's going to be a big test tonight. We know Miami are a very good defensive team. Ollie, tonight possibly going to be our biggest test yet. Nets currently 2-2 with wins against the Sixers and the Wizards, but losses to the Bucks and the Hornets. Nevertheless, when you've got KD and James Harden on your team, it's going to be a tough game. What are we expecting tonight as the main threats?
Yeah, those two pretty much. Yep. They probably a little bit short-handed, obviously with the Kyrie situation going on. It's a positive that he's not going to be playing against us.
Yep.
I think the main threat for them is obviously KD. I think he's top 2 or 3 players in the league, and he can just can score in any way and against anyone, however he wants, really. I've been interested to see this season James Harden's sort of dominance. It's waned a little bit from last year, and I think a lot of that is due to the rule changes with initiating contact on jump shots and getting to the rim and stuff. I saw that he's averaging just 3 free throws per game, which is his lowest for his career. And yeah, it's not a lot for him. Like that's a big part of his scoring output, is to get into the line, getting and ones and stuff, which he's so good at doing. So that having taken that away from him, that's a positive. And I think if we are going to beat the Nets at some point in this season, I think this is the time to do it. If we can neutralize KD with PJ Tucker or Bam or Jimmy guarding him, I think it's a really good opportunity. And, if I was the Nets fan, I think starting the first 5 games with a below 500 record, you wouldn't be too pleased. I think we'd probably think it's a bit catastrophic considering the talent that they've got, but I think we've got
Sam, I'll come on to something, Sam, about what Ollie has just said there, which is took something out of my notes there, which is the highlight on James Harden. Only 32% from free shot attempts a game, only 17.3, averaging 17.3 points per game as well. That's much less than what we would expect from a James Harden that we all know.
Yeah, but let me just finish up what Ollie just said. It will be absolutely catastrophic if we get the Brooklyn Nets to start under 500, considering they're the team in the same state as them. They're like 4-0 at the moment. So yeah, it would be completely embarrassing. But in relation to the game we've got at the moment, we've got the potential to completely expose James Harden, because you've seen how he's played in the first few games of the season, and ever since they've got that rule implemented, we've got an array of players to just switch on rotations on him. So we could get PJ Tucker on him, Jimmy could get the assignment, Kyle Lowry could do his bit. So yeah, it could be a messy game for him, and it could be a strong showing point for the Heat, because I don't know if any of you have seen the power rankings that the NBA put out. I think we dropped 9 positions, and I think it was just solely off the loss of Indiana. I think this might be the game that puts us back on the radar for most people.
Well, this is another good thing that I was about to come on to. Bilal, the Nets at the moment are averaging 104 points per game, which is the 7th worst in the league. Again, this isn't what we expect from the all-firing Brooklyn Nets, and Heat are currently only allowing 95.7 points per game, which I think is a league leading best.
Yeah.
So, what's going to give here? Because, we're a defensive nightmare for any team, but with a Brooklyn team that is maybe struggling on what they're renowned for, this is good signs for Miami.
Yeah, I think I saw the stat today where through the first week we are leading the league in best defense. We do have the best defense in the league, and despite Kyle Lowry not playing against Indiana, so that's a big plus. I think I've seen Tyler Herro take strides this year on defense. Everyone's talking about him on offense. He looks stronger. He looks like he can move his feet a lot quicker, which is really, really a positive sign for us. And I feel like today I got a good feeling about this one. I feel like we will get the W today.
Good man. Well, yeah, we're going to come on to predictions in a minute. But wow, yeah, Tyler Herro, you think everyone's sort of noticed this huge leap offensively in the points he's scoring per game. You had some defensive, assertiveness to that as well. And we've got a hell of a player on our books there, Glenn. Matchups tonight, key matchups. Obviously we've got, I think, Butler on Harden, PJ on KD, which was fun in the playoffs last year when he was a Buck. Lowry maybe on, I don't know, maybe Mills, or we've also got the Robinson and Harris matchup, the 3-point shooting specialists. What's going to be key here? What's going to be the biggest one out of those matchups for a positive result?
I've got to back up Ollie on what he said with PJ. PJ came out last game, 0 points, 1 rebound, 0 assists in 21 minutes. And I'm happy for him to do that every game of the season, providing he's just doing his bit and just clamping down the man that needs to be clamped. And today that is KD. So again, if he could have 5 turnovers, no points, no rebounds. I don't care. As long as that man clamps up KD tonight, he will have a job well done, get a pat on the back from the whole team and all the fans. I think that is the one to watch tonight. Because as we said, James Harden isn't performing. And it's not that he can't. I don't think he's just going to go away for the rest of the season. He'll wake up at some point. But the man to watch is always going to be KD for me.
Yeah, definitely. This is what we brought him in for. This is it. The box scores, I do not care at all about what the box scores. As you just said there, Glenn, he can score no points, no assists. That doesn't bother me at all. You're looking at his production, which is clamping his matchup on court. And if you can do that tonight, it's going to go a big way towards a win. Ollie, just coming on to another little matchup I mentioned there, which is the 3-point specialist, the Duncan Robinson, Joe Harris. Duncan struggled a little bit so far this season. Both obviously elite at what they do. If you could pick just one to go forward with, who are you taking out of them two?
Duncan.
Of course.
No, I don't know. I think that's just my Heat bias talking. Joe Harris is a very good player. I think he's better on defense than Duncan is. And that is a sticking point for Duncan. He has improved it a little bit on year since being in the league. But, if I'm being totally unbiased, I think Joe Harris is probably a more rounded player. So it'll be interesting. I think Duncan obviously needs to get going. He's had a fairly slow start to the season. But again, I'm not worried about it necessarily. Like you're saying about PJ Tucker in the box score, I'm not really worried about it because that will fall for him. I know it's only a little thing and it might be completely not this, but he mentioned in one of his recent podcasts that the change of the ball in Albina Wilson rather than Spalding, he'd sort of sensed the difference in that. I don't think it could make that much of a difference, but I'm not a professional NBA player, so I've got no idea.
That does sound like a real shooter's excuse, doesn't it? That's the sort of thing like Ronaldo would come out with when he goes to the World Cup or something and says, I'm not used to these World Cup balls.
I mean, shooters are going to shoot, so I don't think we've got an issue there. But I want to give a quick shout out to our stats guy, John Jablonka. I don't know if you guys seen it, but he posted a couple threads yesterday, and he was highlighting Duncan Robinson's performances in past few games, and I'm actually liking what I'm seeing from him, from his passing to his cutting, even like the subtle things he does on defense. So at this specific point in time, I'd take Duncan Robinson because his trajectory is just going through the roof, in my opinion.
Yeah, I saw that thread. It was fantastic. If nobody's seen it, go and check out our guy, John Jablonka, who's missing tonight. But check out his thread because he highlighted some great stuff on Duncan's performances and some of his in-play situations. Before we come on to some predictions, Bilal, if the Kyrie situation doesn't change, and I don't expect it to change, I think this is, we're in, I don't know what we're going to do, what's going to be resolved here. What are Brooklyn still going to be this favourite to go through? Because they're still, according to the bookmakers, they're still the favourites. I don't see it, but what are your thoughts?
If Kyrie doesn't come back, I don't see them being the favourites. I would put the Heat ahead of them, if I'm honest. If there's no Kyrie, do you agree?
Well, this is exactly what I was about to say. That was my follow-up question. I don't necessarily see them as the favourites anyway. I always tipped sort of Milwaukee above them, regardless. But I don't see, if they don't get Kyrie back, if they draw the Heat in a second round, or even in the Eastern Conference Finals, if it goes that far, and it's in a 7-game series, I'm taking the Heat with that. Would you?
Yeah, definitely, no doubt. I would say the Bucks are definitely the favourites and the team to look out for. But the Nets without Kyrie Irving, that's an all-star, that's an all NBA talent. So without him taking that level of talent off the court, I'm taking Miami over them, if I'm honest.
I agree.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's messy, and I don't really see how it gets resolved. But they can't just let it drag on all season. It's going to be really, really interesting what happens. Before we come on to final predictions, Glenn, the next 6 games: Brooklyn, Grizzlies, Hornets then Grizzlies. Sorry, Mavericks, Celtics, Jazz. That's a tough 6 games, and then it gets even worse after that, and we start a West Coast trip. But let's just focus on that 6. I tweeted out yesterday who would take 3 and 3 out of that. I would. But I got a bit of, flack for that. Everyone's going, no, come on, man. You've got to be aiming bigger than that. We've got to be going 4 and 2 at least, 5 and 1. I think there was even 1 or 2 6 and 0s, which was a bit ridiculous. But you got to look at that. That's some tough games there. That's some tough games. I would take the 3 and 3. I'd say that would be par. What are your thoughts?
I would also take the 50% and run with that. I think that's a good. And as you say, the thing is we've got coming up is such a long road trip. I think I was having a look at the schedule, and it's just like there might be the odd home game chucked in there, but other than that, for the next seems 10 or so games that we're just away, and it's going to grind. It's going to the time zone difference. Obviously, us Brits don't really know much about that and experience it. But yeah, I agree with you. Take 3 and 3. I think that of one to pick that's maybe not spoken about enough. I think that the Hornets is going to be a really fun matchup to see, especially with the way we've been playing recently. I've akined it more like to a Hornet style play with LaMelo just throwing the ball early and just looking for those open men in the post. So I think it's going to be interesting, but I agree with you. I'd take 3 and 3. Why not?
Yep. I think there's some tough games. Even people like the Hornets, as you say, which is coming up next. A lot of people are just going, well, there's a win. It's not. They're a good team now. They're a fast team. They're a strong team. That's going to be a tough game. Every one of those is going to be a tough game. So I would take the 3 and 3. Maybe lack of guts, some people might say, but I would take it. Right, guys, let's finish off with some predictions for tonight's game. Every game so far, every single game we have all swept through saying it'll be Miami wins. Let's see where we go tonight. Ollie, I'm going to start with you. Tonight's game against Brooklyn, how many by and who's winning?
I think Heat, no Kyrie, Harden's not looking great. So, yeah, Heat by maybe less than 5, I think.
Heat by less than 5. Yep, okay, like it. Sam?
It's going to be a close game, and it's going to go down to the wire. I'm going to say overtime win by 2.
Okay. Again, Heat win by 2, yeah?
Yeah, Heat win.
Okay. Bilal, what are you thinking?
I'm saying Heat by 7.
Heat by 7? Heat by 7. This is good. Glenn?
I can't stop the streak now. I'll go Heat by 3. Why not?
Why not, indeed. Okay, so it's down to me. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it could come down to the last possession. And I'm going to say Jimmy Buckets gets the winner. Heat by 2. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a marker on where we are this season. And if we can get through this 3 and 1, having already got through 1 game of the Bucks and 1 game of the Nets, that will come down as a very good start to the season. Shout out to Matt's at UK Nets fans. Larry is a Nets killer, but Nets by 4. That's the first prediction we've had on this stream that is anything other than a Miami win. Maybe expected. So, we'll look at that. And yes, thank you very much. God damn it, look at these handsome Heat fans. Thank you very much. That's a nice way to end the show. Guys, 12:30 tip again tonight. Please join us on the live feed, as always, at the Miami Heat UK. Great show tonight. A lot of interaction. We'll be back again. I think it's Friday night for the game against the Hornets. Until then, great game tonight. Let's enjoy it. Heat by 3, I said. 2, sorry. Let's go.